Thank you so much for being here. I've got an amazing guest today. I met her during the pandemic lockdown, and she's just one of those people that, you feel like you were supposed to meet for a reason. It's like she's kind of living proof that the law of attraction works, because I think we met each other at exactly the right time in our lives. Her name is Beverley Ellis, and she's an actor, a stand-up, an authentic living coach, and the author of Just Be Living the Dream, which just came out on Amazon like over a week ago, right?
July, the end of July.
Great. And I just finished reading her book this afternoon. Here it is. It's so inspiring, just like Beverley. I guess I didn't expect any less from your book, but it's a great read no matter what stage of your self-actualization you're at. I feel like I'm soaking in mine. I'm just in the middle of mine, and I needed this like nice reminder of, our life path and where we're supposed to be. Is there anything you want to say before I start interviewing you?
It's just really funny how you say it's a reminder, because that's what it is. I wrote it because I needed to remind myself about being on the path. And it's funny how you say, I don't want to start running on, but when you say that we met at the right time, it's like we did. We really, really did.
Yes. We're closest to the same age, and closest to the same part of our journey too, I think. Like it's so perfect. It's so perfect. I still haven't met Beverley in person. I know I had promised to this summer, but I'll see you when I get back from Italy, because I really, really, ever since we met online, I'm like, I have to meet Beverley in person. We're on like opposite ends of Adelaide Street in Toronto. So, okay,
I think we met during Scrabble, actually.
Oh my God, you're right. She's the only person who destroys me in Scrabble, by the way, which I highly respect. I highly respect anyone who can destroy me in Scrabble. You're right. I completely forgot about that. So, so you get so into this in your book, and I think it's a really important story because we all go through these times in our life, and you talk about sort of the turning point for you, what some people would call your breakdown and what you called your breakthrough moment. I know there's a lot of people in the audience who have either gone through this or are going through a low point right now, and I'd love for you to just talk about how that moment kind of changed your trajectory.
I really wish, if you want to call it a breakdown or breakthrough, I really wish it happened when I was 40, as opposed to 20 years later. I worked in, corporate Canada for 30 years. So very, very, very structured. And it all happened. I can tell you why I was in corporate Canada ever since I was like a little kid. My mother asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I go, I want to be an actress. And then she kind of just, kissed her teeth and said, no, seriously, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to work in a bank. And her face just lit up and she goes, oh, that's better. So hence it was 30 years in pretty much banking and, the corporate area. And what happens is when you deny who you really are and you're living up to other people's expectations, you can lose years, decades, a lifetime of trying to live up to someone else's view of you instead of who you are. And so I guess it took quite a while. I was going to work until it was like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do it anymore. And I decided to take a week off. Well, that week turned into, it's been 3 years now. Because I never went back. I couldn't go back. So it was in, being in the fetal position in a bowl of rum, which I still will never give up. I discovered incrementally who I was, and that's how it pretty much all started.
Oh, incredible. By the way, I so related to that story. I'm the daughter of Italian immigrants. And when my father said, what do you want to be? I said, I want to be an actress. He said, actresses are whores. And he got actually pretty violent with me. It was awful. So I completely related to your story. I didn't start acting till I was 38, and which I realized reading your book, that was even younger than you. And I thought I was so too late, but I wasn't, right? It's never too late.
It's never too late to be the whore of an actor.
It, yeah, actually, you're right. Like, I didn't actually care about the part about being a whore. It was the part about the disapproval of my parents.
Right. Like awful. Your parents' disapproval is huge. And they really they say these things to protect you, but they don't realize what they're doing. Right. Yes. And if they knew better, they would have done better. But it's very hard. And I know that I have 2 kids. And I raised them completely different because I said, I don't care what you do. Just make sure it's something that you want to do and you do it with passion. And I can't tell you how blessed I am because both of my children are very successful in their own right. You know, I've got a doctor and I've got, my daughter who's just like, a connector, and she's like all over the world. And they've never given me a moment's of pain or sorrow or worry or anything like that. I just think that's because I just said, do you, just do you, don't care what it is.
Oh, that's so great. No. Yeah. As I read about your children, because I didn't know until I read your book, I didn't know you birthed a doctor and an influencer. And they sound so incredible. Yes. And yes, so we talked a little bit there about like some of the fears we had in disappointing our parents, but there's a whole excellent, you have so many great words in your book about the fear and what it does to us. And you say to run towards the fear. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
I think I basically said, fear is the bitch you invite to breakfast, right? Because the thing is, sometimes we don't even name it fear. We will come up with different excuses of why we can't do things. And all excuses are fear-based. It's all kind of like couched in fear. It's like, no, I'm not afraid to do that, but I can't do that because I don't have enough money, or I can't do that because, I have children, or I'm married, or I've got this job, or there's so many I can't do, which that's just the baseline excuse to cover up the fear that you're afraid to do it.
Yes, I remember. Oh, I didn't ask you this, but I had a heart-to-heart with my dad maybe 20 years after he said that, actresses or hers. And there was an article written about me where I talked about my family and everything. And he said, why did you wait so long to become an actress? He said that to me. And I said, don't you remember what you said? He had no memory of it.
They don't.
No memory. And I realized, I was buying into that because I had that underlying, like, what if I fail, or, who knows, but I was obviously letting the fear run me around.
Because when we're young, we're very, very impressionable. So what we take on, and especially from our parents, we really take it on. And they don't, and as I said before, they could have just said something flip. They won't even remember it the next day. Had you pursued to be an actress, nobody would have batted an eye. It's like, yeah, this is what my daughter wants to do. But we internalized that. We internalized their initial fear, took it on as our fear. And that's why, hence, you waited till you're 38. My first acting was at 48.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, I mean, but you really, you were in a movie with Val Kilmer.
That was my first one at 48. That's what I'm saying. My very, very first audition, which is kind of funny because all my entire adult life, I never thought of acting as real. I never thought of Los Angeles or anything like that as real. I kind of really squelched it. And it's like, this is the straight and narrow. You're going to be in the corporate world. You're a banker. It's respectable and it's real. Like, we all know bankers. We don't know a lot of actors, right? So it's something that's real. I've lost the train of your question though.
Oh,
I tend to babble on.
That's okay. Me too. Hey, this is why we're great together. I was about to, I can't remember what I was saying just before this, but I wanted to talk about what you wrote when you said fear kills more dreams than failure ever will.
I think that just says it all. It really does. Like, it doesn't even have to explain it. Sometimes you really have to know who you are here to be, because it's really a choice. And as I said, we take the fear out of the equation and just use them as excuses. So if I can use those two things interchangeable, like those excuses, you can lose a whole life with excuses of not doing what you need to do. And like, going back when I said that I've been in the corporate area, which of course is very structured. And so there's not necessarily a lot of creativity in being, a financial planner or a banker. And did you want me to get into like how I ended up in LA? Or
well, yeah, I was about to talk about when you were suddenly on your path, like the whole world opened up to you. So that transition, I'd love to talk about that. Yes.
That transition was really quick, because literally when I said that I can't go back to work, I was literally driving out of the driveway, and it was just went, not today. And I did the whole U-turn and went back home. And from the time that I was in the fetal position to performing in LA at the Comedy Store was 12 months.
Oh my God.
When I was in the fetal position, there was no stand-up. I never did stand-up before. I never thought to do stand-up. It wasn't even like in my brain to do. And what happened was, in the silence, as I said, I started meditating. I did morning pages. There's certain things that I did, and I started just to listen, because I knew I wasn't going to go back. So if I'm not going to go back, where am I going to go? And this is kind of like the last chance to go into performing, the arts, entertainment, acting, stand-up, whatever you want to call it. I want to be seen. I want to be on stage. So how is that going to happen? I don't know. Then I went to Second City, and I took a storytelling class. And in there, that's how it really kind of started, because I met this girl who said she was going to go on to do stand-up. And of course, I looked at her like she had two heads. It's like, stand-up. So I watched her trajectory, because she took the class and then she was on stage. And then I looked, I went, I can do that. And that's how it all started. So that took me about till March, because I stopped working January 15th, 2019. I remember the day. I remember the day. And so about March, I finished storytelling, and then I went up into stand-up. Not planning to do anything with stand-up. It was just the fact that you've taken the course, and now, I've got a 5-minute set, and it's like, okay, that was that, and, kind of put that aside. And as I said, when you are on your path to where you're supposed to be, people, situations come to you. It's kind of like when the teacher is ready. No, when the student is ready. Let me have another drink. When the student's ready, the teacher appears. So that's kind of what happened. And then I was introduced via like email to a guy in Los Angeles who was an actor. And he talked to me on the phone. He says, oh, so-and-so introduced us, and I hear that you want to be, be an actor. So why don't you come to LA? I don't know if if you're 20, but what would happen if you waited another 10 years and you're 30 years old and did not do what your heart told you to do? And meanwhile, I'm thinking, if he only knew how old I was, I don't think he would be inviting me. Long story short, I decided I'm going to go to LA, and I am going to go down there with the plan. And he was going to help me with the plan, because it was structured. I'm a planner. We know what the plan's going to be. He told me that you're going to, figure out how to get an agent. He wanted me to go around in a 30-mile radius and kind of door knock on all the agents and do this. He told me about, don't come down here with your Canadian accent. That will never work. And on and on and on and on and on. when I got there, he picked me up at the airport actually, and repeated all of the things that I'm supposed to do. When I got to my Airbnb, I was exhausted and I was extremely doubtful, because it's like, really? Because I'm 50, how old was that? 59, close to 59 years old. And I am going to start off in Hollywood as an actress. And I had to let it go because the anxiety level was so high. And what I want to share is you have to distinguish the difference between being a little bit anxious and terrified. Anxious will get you, anxiety and excitement will kind of coast you. You can wrap up to that fear. It will get you to the next one. Terror, on the other hand, will just shut you down. And that's what I felt.
Oh,
at that moment, I just felt terror. And I just thought, what have I done? So I had to let everything go. I said, I'm in Los Angeles. This is real. There's palm trees. There's lemon trees. There's orange trees. This is a beautiful, just let it go. And by letting it go, and through the meditating and morning pages, and for the fact that my anxiety level had just drained down, now I was presenting a whole different package of peace, calm, and tranquility. And with that, opportunities just came to me.
Yes, I love that that part of the book where I wanted to talk about your meditation practice, because it's something that I haven't particularly done, although I related to some of the things you said, like when you were doing your first stand-up set. I had the same experience. My first stand-up set, it was like I was out of my body. But I could hear the laughter, and that laughter just spurred me on. I also played the Belly Room, by the way, and Bobby Lee was there, and I was out of my body again. I remember.
Wow.
Because he was just sitting there watching. I was like, holy shit, I'm in the freaking Comedy Store. But I related to like every beat of that. But the meditation is so powerful. Do you want to talk about your process a bit?
Meditation, I do morning pages more so than meditation. Mm-hmm. Meditation, I don't do more than 20 minutes. I try to do it every day. I don't do it every day, but the whole thing with the meditation is there is no proper way. Meditation is however you do it. Because I remember the very first time that I did meditation, I lasted a good, 35, 40 seconds before I went, no, like I'm out. I can't do this. I can't do this. And if you just relax into it and use a timer, and whatever happens in that 20 minutes happens in that 20 minutes, or 15 if you wanted to start at 15, but the next day it's going to be different. Like every day it will be different until you kind of go into your own meditation practice. So don't go in meditation with any preconceived notions that, oh, I've got to be quiet or whatever. Just be quiet, just naturally be quiet. You can focus on, the hum of the air conditioning, like whatever. It doesn't make meditation your own. But what happens, like for me, my practice is more of the morning pages. And what morning pages is, it was Julia Cameron, The Right to Write, the author of that. And all it is hand to paper and pen, and you just write out 3 pages every single morning. First thing, very first thing. And I likened it to your morning dump, your morning constitution, right? You just get everything out of your brain and onto paper. You don't have to reread it. You don't have to worry about what the subject is. You can rant. You can write down your dreams, your aspirations, whatever is on your mind, free flow, put it on paper. It does not have to make sense because no one's reading it, not even you.
Yeah.
When you're done, you're done. And what that does, it just gets rid of anything that's there, and then you can meditate. So it's morning pages first, and then the meditation. So, you're dump, and then you get ready for the answers. And after a while, going back to the meditation, answers come to you. Things come in meditation. And even if they don't come in meditation, what you find is whatever is on your mind, once you're clear, on where it is that you want to go throughout the day, answers will come to you.
I loved, you wrote this in the book. In the silence, you get answers to questions you didn't even ask.
Right.
She's got so many gems in the book, by the way. Like you just like
Yeah.
every few pages, there was like that brilliance, that hard won brilliance, because you lived it. You had to live it before.
And I think the biggest message that I want to like put out there is temet nos. Know thyself. You have to know thyself, because if you don't know who you are, someone else is going to tell you who you are, and then you're going to go in the wrong path. And I believe that it is our duty to live our best lives through our own path so we can give to others.
Yes, that message came through loud and clear. Or creator of any kind, it feels like it's doubly and triply important.
It is.
We are our own product. Let's get into manifestation. In your book, you talk about how your dreams, how I loved when you said the script is already written. It's just up to you to direct and act the scenes. Yes, because you were able to manifest. First, you had to see it, and then you had to let it go. And then, is that right? And then you lived it.
I think manifestation really works when you start from, and I can't repeat this enough, start from knowing what it is that you're here to do, right? You can create that, but you have to go within yourself, figure out who you are so you can bring that out. So once you know who you are, that's when you can ask for things that are within your path. So for example, you want to be an entertainer, it's out there. It's kind of like already done. So now every decision that you make, every person that comes in your, purview, they're giving you something that you can take to put you back on your path to entertainment or whatever it is that your dream is. That's how the manifestation works. Manifestation only works when you're on your truth path. So you got to figure out where you are first, then put it out there.
That's why as older creators, we have an advantage that way, right?
Absolutely. We absolutely do. I always look at, when you're saying older creators, I'm looking at, I look at life in like 3 acts, like a 3-act play. You got your first, second, and third act. I'm in my third act. And so I had the first and second act of learning the wisdoms and all the information. And so I kind of liken it to George Carlin. He used to write completely sober, like he'd write his set. And then the next day he'd smoke a joint and go, time to punch it up. So that's how I look at our third act. We've already done all the things that perhaps other people wanted us to do. Now it's our last chance. It's like, if not now, when? It's time to punch it up.
So you did a bucket list as you were about to hit 60, and you called it 60 before 60. Did you end up doing all the 60 things on your bucket list?
I didn't do all of them, and I haven't really looked at what's left, but the majority of them I have. And the 60 before 60 was anything between meditation, which I did because that was on the list, learning chess, which now I don't care to learn chess, skydiving, which I did. Wanted to go to LA, go first class. There's just all the 60 things. Most of them I did.
I love, by the way, that because this is all part of manifesting. Like you flew first class to LA. Like, I don't think you even looked at your bank account. I think you were like, this is my dream. I'm going to get a nice room. I'm exactly the same way. I'm not going to go half-assed if it's a trip for my dream.
Here's how that came about. And that really came about in the book, where I say there's some tools where you've got to figure out, how did you get here? And what foibles we all have in terms of when, you look back and it's like, well, this is what I did. And even if it's a characteristic that you're not necessarily proud of, you can still use it. So where I have a little bit of insecurity or lack is, I don't want to be left out of anything. I don't want to be the one who's got my nose pressed against the window going, man, I wish I could go in there. So when I went to LA, the reason that I flew first class is because I didn't want to be left out of anything. I wanted to feel it. I wanted to feel like a star, and I'm not going to feel like a star in Coach. That's how. So the little foibles, the things that you want to kind of like make sure that it's not going to be on your brain. It's not going to be part of that. So you just try to alleviate that. I don't want that to come up. So I alleviated that. And that's how I ended up staying in Beverly Hills, in a beautiful place in Los Angeles. And was it ridiculous amount of money? Yes. Do I have any regrets? No. Do I have any money now? No.
Listen, I'm where
Right?
you are. Don't worry. It's all good though, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in the same place with New York, and it's like life is never better. Like,
I saw your pictures and I said, you go for it, girl. Absolutely. Because you put it out there, and that's where you'll be staying for sure.
I feel, oh yes, it's well, I'll report back, but that's exactly my intention. And it goes with what you said in the book about manifesting being like, it's an energy and a frequency. It's not so much about, like you said, don't think about an amount of money, think about the experience and put your body into that experience. Is that right? The way I've phrased it?
It's all about, you attract who you are and who you are being. So if you are relaxed, that is what you will attract amongst you, people who are relaxed. If you're frenetic and crazy, and I went down there going, because I was at the beginning, it's like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. That wasn't working for anybody. So it came to a point where I just had to relax. It's already out there what you want. Just be in the joy of it. And in the joy of it, I met joyful people who were able to put me directly on stage, as opposed to hoping and praying and pounding the pavement. I didn't have to do any of that, because I attracted who I was trying to become, and I wanted to be relaxed and successful.
And it was a relatively quick period of time, right?
It was ridiculously quick. Because I went to, as I said, I went to LA at the end of October. So say I was there for November the 1st, and all the stages happened in January.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. That's how you know you're on your path, right? Everything starts to fall into place. It's like nothing feels hard.
It doesn't feel hard. And the thing is, if you relax and just kind of don't worry about the outcome, and everything that I'm saying, I didn't know this at the time. It's not like any of that was planned. It's only in reflection, when I look back, I'm going, that worked. That worked. Why did that work? And that's really why I wrote the book, because I wanted to remember that when you're looking for something and you need something to happen, this is the path on getting there.
Yes. And that's why I think people can benefit from reading it before they even hit that stage, just so they can relax into it and just trust that it will come.
Because I remember before even going to LA, because I always think of LA as this fantasy. So I'm just thinking, you know, they're going to be all these skinny bitches and all in the you know, entertainment industry, and I'm definitely going to be with my nose pressed up against the window looking out. And once I let go of all of that, I was skinnier. I was prettier. I was friendlier. It naturally happened, because it's like, don't worry about it. Come as you are, start where you are.
Oh, that's great.
But you have to start.
I loved when you said in your first time doing stand-up, where have I been all my life?
Yes.
That moment when your dreams are made real. And I'm just going to read a few quotes because they're brilliant. We often do not realize who we are born to be, as we're so busy trying to live out somebody else's idea of who we're supposed to be. But you know, when you've hit the moment that you're doing the thing you're born to be, right? Yes. So writing this book was on your bucket list. And it's okay. What is amazing to me, because you're one of my wonderful coffee breakers. I have a coffee break MBA group, and it's where we learn how to hack life. Beverly already knew how to hack life before she joined us. And she said when she joined that she was going to write a book. But all of a sudden there it was on Amazon. How did you figure out how, from the moment you said, okay, I want to write this, to getting it on Amazon?
Well, I would have to really kind of thank you, as believe it or not, when you tell people that you're going to do something, they become your accountability coach.
Oh,
and that's what Coffee Break MBA was to me. It was like being accountable. You said you were going to do this. You're amongst all these people who are trying to achieve and trying to be entrepreneurial. And the bottom line is, you can say, oh, I'm writing a book, and smile and nod for so long before you got to produce a book. And I started writing in, I think November is when I really, because I was talking about it since September, but November is when I really put pen to paper. And then I started writing it. And I remember even telling you, saying, oh, you can write a book in a month and, get it done. It doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be out there. And I did that. And I finished the book and I read it and I went, this sucks. This just sucks. So it was like back to the drawing board. And that's when I had to kind of regroup and think, what is the purpose of the book? And that, instead of, because I had all the anxiety going, okay, it's got to be good, but it's not good. It's got to be done. It was just trying to balance those two things. And it was my son, funny enough, when I told him that I'm done the book, but I don't like it. And he goes, well, why don't you take a month off?
Oh yeah, good
idea.
Stop.
Just stop and just figure out what it is that you want. And I did. And so then I pretty much picked it up again in April or May.
Oh my God.
So I know a lot of people ask, how long did it take you to write the book? I would say about 50 years. Because the content was based on what I had in 50 years. Because you're always writing, right? Even when I go for a walk or a run, I'm writing the book. What I'm proud about is I did the book myself.
Oh.
Originally I did have an editor, and that didn't necessarily work out to the end. So it's kind of out there unedited, but it's done, it's out there. So I'm pretty sure that you would have seen some, errors in it. But I designed the cover, I picked the cover, I'm the one who put it on Amazon, had to structure it and all of that. All of that wasn't easy. I did the book myself from beginning to end and put it on Amazon. And I am not a techie. I am not a techie.
Wow. So you just figured it out.
I had to figure it out. So what probably would have taken somebody, a couple hours to do, I did in 11 hours.
That's incredible though. I didn't know you could do that in 11 hours.
Yeah. But 11 hours just to put it on Amazon is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you like that you put it on Amazon? Would you recommend that for people as an avenue for their first book?
I don't know. I don't know. I put it on Amazon because it gives you credibility.
Yes.
For the fact that you've got a book and it is on Amazon. Initially I was going to put it on my own site, but Amazon it's quicker. It's much easier. They've got everything is there. You just give them the information in it, and it's, as long as it's to their specs.
Amazing.
It was easy. I shouldn't say easy. It was easy. It just took me a long time, but it was easy.
11 hours is not bad. When you think about it, it's there for life, and I think the good thing about Amazon is there's traffic. There's an audience already who is looking for your content. So that's great. Are you ever going to do it as an audiobook? I'd love to hear you read it.
I do plan on doing it as an audiobook. I need all the equipment to do that.
Yeah. But I mean, you're a performer. It will be great. I think it will be great. One of the things, if I stay in Toronto, one of the things I want to do is rent out a studio with a podcasting thing. So if I'm able to do that, I'll just come and invite you to just record your book there. Because that's what it's for. Yeah.
I thank you for that, but I know you're going to be in New York. I feel that for you because you've put it out there. You're already there. You know that, right?
Well, I'm going for a few months at first, but yeah, I'm making my way. I'm there. I know I'm there in my heart, right? Like I even want to skip this trip to Italy and just go straight to New York. But
well, I'll come and visit you because my brother's moving there in a year.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Yes, it's more doable now than it's ever been. But that's not even why I'm going there now. It's the time. It's the time, right? It's the time is right. Wow. Okay, great. And so before we get into questions, what is next for you?
That's an interesting question because what I really want to do is I want to attract my master tribe, is what I call it. I am looking to be in communion with like-minded people who really want to share all the tools and tricks to living their dream.
Great.
And the thing is, we really have to kind of like decouple the word dream, take it away from the whole fantasy aspect, because a dream is just an expression of your potential. So if that is what's within you, that's what you're supposed to do. So don't think of it as some kind of like, fantasy thing. So that's what I'm doing. It's like everybody who's in there, not necessarily in the third act, well before their third act, if we can all come together, just like you did for entrepreneurs and Coffee Break. I want to have my dreamers in my.
That's so great.
Yes.
Because it's true. When I figured out what I figured out about entrepreneurship, I was like, oh, if I could only like get this message out to 20-year-olds, although it doesn't matter. Like most of us in Coffee Break, we're older, but imagine knowing what we know now when we were 20.
Right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine how different, like I'm just even thinking about just for myself, how different my life would be if I started this when I was 40, because I knew my duty before that was to raise my children. And from the time, so I had 20 years after the children left the home that I could have been doing so much more, but no, I was chasing what I thought where I thought I should be.
Well, you're very lucky because you look like you're 40. So like no one would ever know. I mean, I'm so glad you say it in the book. I always say my age as well. I'm 52 now and I'm so proud of that. And I know you're proud of being 60, but you look nowhere near your age. So that's amazing.
Smoke and mirrors, my dear, smoke and mirrors.
So great. Yeah. No, it's fantastic. So your master tribe, so you're a coaching and community and
yes.
Yeah, I know. I coined you an authentic living coach because I personally think that's your forte, is getting, and I mean, you have many strengths, but your book and things that you've said to people in Coffee Break, I see that you're tapping into the individuality of each person. It's a gift.
And funny that you should say that, because I never know like when somebody's saying something, I never know what I'm going to say. It's like, it's not pre-planned or pre-packaged. I really do think it's being like channeled to me at the time, because I just know that there's sometimes like even talking to, friends of mine, and they're coming up with like an issue and I'm telling them that and they went, that's brilliant. I never thought of that. And I'm thinking, neither did I.
Well, you're just being, you're there.
It's true. And I think I was definitely born where it's not going to be obvious with this production, but I definitely listen more than I talk.
Oh yeah, no. That's you. I can see you actively listening in our Zoom calls. So for sure. Yeah. Oh, it looks like there are questions. Okay, let's go to the questions. Lydia in Saskatoon says, sometimes the teacher has to be ready with an answer or a question for the student. And we've got Sally and Rob Trick is watching. Lydia says she attracts dogs. So no questions. Any questions for Beverley? Like, she's accomplished so much. Do you guys have any questions about manifestation, or any of you are on a journey? I like, and maybe it's, I was just talking to a friend about this, Beverly. I hadn't seen her since the beginning of the pandemic. And we talked about everything that came to us in the alone time, just because we were alone, we had all these strong, intuitive, you must do this next, like voices coming at us. I don't know. Has anyone else in the audience experienced that?
I would think that a lot of people have experienced that. I just think that I was just a year before the pandemic, where I had that, what was it, like 6 months of that alone time where it was just me and my thoughts and what now, and this isn't working, and I've got to, that word pivot that everybody's throwing around. It's like, it was time more to bounce than pivot.
Rob says, do you find the feeling of satisfaction that comes with age?
Yeah, because I'm in denial that I'm old.
Well, you're not old.
Yeah, but no, it's kind of weird because I feel it and I don't feel it. But yeah, I'm the same way. Age is old people, so I'm there.
Satisfaction. I wonder if I feel the satisfaction that comes with it. I feel the satisfaction of going, you kids don't know how it was 30 years ago. Like, there's like, I have the retroactive perspective that I kind of wish that people, especially young people that I'm teaching, I wish they had it so they could know how far we've come, like how hard we fought, like all of that stuff. Like, I kind of like having that perspective. I don't know if that's what you mean. Wisdom, says Rob. Wisdom. Yeah.
I think with age too, what comes is the beauty or the benefit of like, I don't give a shit anymore. It's, I've got to, you've got to do what you've got to do what you got to do, as long as you know what you're supposed to be doing.
When I was reading about your bucket list, I was like, oh, that should have been called your bucket list. Cause like, it's like bucket, this is what I'm doing.
That's funny because I know when I was in LA and I turned 59 in LA, and I was in a Uber. And so the guy said, like, where are you going? I go, oh, I'm going to go celebrate my birthday. And he goes, wow, like, how old are you? And I said, I'm the tender age of fuck it. That was pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a great thing about age. Well, and I don't know if it's a being a woman thing, but like, I stopped giving a shit what people thought about me. I think it wasn't that long ago for me. It was like around age 48, something like that. Yeah.
You seem to me that you've always had that free spirit, though. I don't think you ever cared about what other people really thought.
I did. Yeah. Oh, certainly. Oh my God. All those years of conditioning.
There's so many times when I said, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. Like that. Yeah. You're very giving. You've got such a generous giving spirit.
Oh, thank you.
We're all grateful for you, let me tell you.
Oh, thank you. No, I never had kids on purpose. I never had the maternal instinct, but I do love loving and giving and sharing. And, Don Cheadle once said to me, you got to be a mom. Like, he was really hell bent on me being a mom. He met me when I was 36, I want to say. Wow. And he's like, what are you waiting for? Like, have a kid. I'm like, I don't want to have a kid. Like, I was trying to explain to him, and he's like, but you're so nurturing. I was like, that doesn't mean I have to be a mom. I could be a teacher. I could whatever, right?
Very true. I don't like children.
But you had two perfect ones.
Yeah, as I said, just my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was never into children.
That is an amazing. I mean, I have so much respect for you on that. Like, I didn't even know that when you mentioned that in the book. I'm like, wow, on top of everything, she's got like two grown, wonderful children. Listen, guys, have you been inspired by this? Because I'm continually inspired every day by Beverly. So Master Tribe, do you know when you're gonna start going for that?
As soon as we hang up here.
It's literally the next moment.
Yeah, because it will be on, I have my site, Be Living the Dream.
Oh yes. How can people find you?
You can find me on Be Living the Dream. That's where, the workshop or the group information will be. It's not there yet, but it will be there eventually. or you can follow me on Be Living the Dream 2020 on IG.
Oh, great. Oh, you're an IG person. I got to learn that.
I don't necessarily learn that. I have a handful of followers.
All right. Well, if there are no questions, please find Beverley, follow her. If anything resonates, check out her book, Be Living the Dream, Just Be Living the Dream on Amazon. And it's a really easy and powerful read. And check out Master Tribe. And I can't wait to meet you in person. I'll be back in October for 3 weeks. So let us.
Perfect.
Okay.
We'll see you
Thank you
then.
for your time. It was so nice to see you.
Thank you, Daniela.